Hi everyone. This is a brief demo of Invoiced. This is Adam Weinroth with Invoiced. I'm Chief Marketing Officer and I'm going to be taking you through this demo. So first what we're looking at here, this is the Invoice Dashboard. So you'll log in and you'll see a nice overview of everything that's happening in your accounts receivable world. We place a lot of emphasis on these action items right here, things that you need to do. Because largely what we're trying to do is make it so that you can set it and forget it, completely walk away from AR and billing and collections, have everything happen for you, and then if there's something that doesn't go according to plan, or if someone's not paying quickly enough, or something needs your attention, we let you know. So you can come back into the system and get involved. So this is the most important part of the invoiced experience. But then, as you can see, we've also got some nice facts and stats here. Things like how long it's taking people to pay, what your collections efficiency looks like, DSO, your total AR balance, etc. We've also got a nice little mini AR aging report right here. You can customize these date ranges. They can be whatever you want, and then you can actually click on any of these date ranges, and it'll take you right into the invoices that make that up. And then for any of those invoices, you can edit it, copy it, download it, send it, receive a payment, or delete it right there in place. So we make everything really easy to get to. If we go back here, you'll see we also have a nice little leaderboard of who the top debtors are. So if you have a spare 15 minutes in the day, it's a great place to start potentially making some calls. Then we have a AR heartbeat chart right here that tells you over time what's been billed out, what's been paid, what's been billed out, what's been paid, etc. And you can change the frequencies and the date ranges on here as well. We also track throughout the system all kinds of activity. So this is just the tip of the iceberg right here. But what we do is we track everything at the atomic level. So whether that is someone on your team creating a bill, whether it's someone who's one of your customers opening an email that has a notification about an overdue invoice in it, or if it's something the system is doing automatically, we're tracking all of those actions. And you can see what actions are happening at the individual customer level, and you can drill down even further and see the entire activity history at the invoice level. So lots of accountability, lots of granularity there. Now, there's one thing that I want to focus on specifically, which is something that we call our smart chasing engine. So I'm going to go into my settings here. As you can see, there's a lot of things that you can configure in Invoiced. It's truly a platform. You can customize it in many different ways and really tailor the experience for both your internal teams as well as your outside customers who are paying. All of that can be configured. But one of the really important things here, one of the big ways that Invoiced helps you save time is with our smart chasing engine. So what smart chasing is basically it's working to collect and drive people to pay on your behalf. So what we do is we set up what's called a cadence. A cadence is a series of automated communication and action assignment steps that happen based on triggers for account age and past due age. Now, you can have everyone be in the same collections cadence, all of your customers in the same collections cadence. One size fits all is fine. But if you want to, you can also create many different cadences. If you have different groups or segments of customers that you want to treat differently in terms of what they experience from a collections point of view, you can do that, and you can make it as precise as you want to be. You might have some customers who you want to be very high frequency with. They need a lot of reminding, and you're not going to burn out that relationship. Or you might have others who you need to handle with a little bit lighter touch, maybe less frequent, maybe more phone calls versus emails or texts, etc. So I've got a lot of just kind of fake cadences that are set up here. Let's go into one so you can see kind of the anatomy of what one of these looks like. So you can pick a name for it. This one I'm calling my wholesaler's cadence. It's running at 7 a.m. every day, and I'm not bugging anyone if they owe me less than $100. I'm going to click the next button, and then it takes me to the steps that are in the cadence that I've set up already. There are 8 steps in this particular cadence, but you could have 80 steps if you wanted to, and many of our customers do. You can send out a bill. In this case, we've got a bill going out through the postal mail. So we do have a print and mail integration that lets you fire off a letter in the mail without ever having to touch an envelope. Then we've got some emails that are happening in sequence here at different past due ages. Then we start to have texts go out automatically. And then I've set up a phone call step right here, which is specifically a phone call action. And then I can assign that to an individual or to a role who might cover that particular account, whichever the account is. I can have multiple phone call steps here if I wanted to as well. Then if it gets even further, we can have other escalation steps. So this one I've just picked escalate, and I'm calling it cancel policy, but it could be stop shipment, it could be call the collections agency, it could be terminate service, whatever you want. And you can have as many of those as you want. You can also copy all these different steps and move them around. There are also templates for emails, for text, for paper letter that let you really tailor, the communication that's coming across. And then what happens is as your customers move through these steps and move through these different past due and account age triggers, they will either pay, hopefully they pay. If they don't, they'll stay in the cadence. But when they do pay, they're going to come right out of the cadence and it's not going to bother them anymore. So what I'd like to do now is show you what your customer is going to experience through these cadences. So let's go in through an invoice. Let's find a nice little invoice here. So let's go to this one. And we can see, first of all, we're looking at this invoice. We see that there's a subscription plan here. There's a late fee because it's overdue. We also can see that this customer is in a chasing cadence. And so if I want, I can go into those collection details and the entire collection history for that customer right here. And we can see that there are a few failed attempts at texting. And then we got all the way to the end of this cadence, and it was finished and it wasn't paid. We can see some tasks that landed on the task list. So it gives us a nice overview of what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and just send a one-off. So we can send that through email, through paper letter, through text message. I'm going to go ahead and send one through email. You can see we've got a nice template already populated here with some merge variables to personalize the content. That way it's, hey, here's who the invoice is from, here's the business that it's to, here's the invoice number, here's the balance that's due or overdue. I'm going to go ahead and send that to myself. And then we'll open up my inbox and refresh that. And we'll see I have this past due invoice from Dunder Mifflin. And it says, hi, we're contacting you about this invoice. It has a past due balance of such and such. All that's pulled in dynamically. We also have a nice little PDF of the invoice so we can look at the details, line items. This one's pretty sparse. But what we really want people to do is click that Pay Now button. And then it's going to immediately take me into the payment portal. It's going to passwordlessly authenticate me into the portal so I don't have to go around searching for a username and password or reset it or register or anything like that. It's going to take me right into that securely. I can go ahead and download the invoice. I can ask questions or dispute line items or whatever I want, and we keep all that conversation tied back to the invoice. So everything's nice and organized, and you can keep those conversations very accountable. I'm going to click Pay Invoice. And when it's possible, we encourage people to pay a full balance if they owe more than the invoice amount that they came in through. They can also select individual invoices to pay. So they can click this and then select individual invoices that they'd like to pay. In this case, I'm just going to pay the invoice that I came in through. I click Next. And then I've already paid with a credit card previously, so I have that as a saved payment method. If I want, I can use that. I can enroll in autopay. Autopay enrollment is something that you can turn on or off. You can also make it mandatory. Really, all this is completely configurable by you. Or if I want, I can add a new credit card. I can pay by ACH. I can see check instructions and wire transfer instructions. Any payment method that you want to add there, really you can. I'm going to go ahead and pick the credit card that I've used before. I'm not going to enroll in autopay this time. And a bunch of things are going to happen when I click this Pay Now button. So first of all, the invoice has been paid. I got a receipt. the invoice was marked paid and invoiced. And if I refresh this invoice that we were just on, we see congratulations, it's been paid in full. Now the other thing that's also happened, in addition to me getting a receipt, the invoice being paid, the invoice being marked as paid and invoiced, it's also been marked as paid in the accounting system or ERP if one is integrated. We support a wide variety of accounting and ERP platforms right out of the box. And if it's not out of the box, then you can always integrate it through our API. So we make it really easy so that when someone pays, it's automatically entered into your main system of record. Now, what's nice is that as these cadences have been happening, as payments have been happening, then that's populating this dashboard here with lots of really useful information. So you see we had these action items, these tasks that are due today. Those were tasks that were created by the cadences that I showed you. So I have to cancel a policy. These are things that I have to do. I have to make a phone call, cancel a policy, escalate something, whatever. All these are overdue. They have due dates. And as I do them, I can go ahead and mark them as complete. And with this, I can mark it as complete. And that way, I can stay on top of my own work. And then managers can come in and see tasks across their teams to make sure that everyone's on top of their work. If cadences are running and people are paying their bills, you won't have to go into the system. You won't have to do any double entry. You'll just be getting paid. The payments will be reflected in your accounting system and it'll be touchless. If people are not paying as they move through their cadences, then there will be tasks that land on your plate that you'll need to go and do. And then once you're moving through those tasks successfully, then those outstanding payments will be getting paid. And so what we're really trying to do here is create very much a lifestyle change for your AR. Instead of having to hover over AR, instead of having to keep a spreadsheet, instead of having to constantly think about having to contact customers and remind them and nudge them, we just do all that for you. And so you can literally walk away from your AR and then only come back to it when we tell you that there's something that needs your involvement. There are many other things you can do. You can explore customers. You can filter them and sort them in all kinds of ways. We also have a nice estimates capability where if you want to prepare an estimate, it's similar to an invoice, but it's not something that's due. And so what we could do is create an invoice, an estimate with any item, which could be a product or service from our item catalog. And then we just pick a customer and we can issue that estimate. Then the estimate can be approved by the customer and a deposit can be paid on it as well. And then once that estimate is approved and the deposit is paid, the remaining balance can then be converted with one click into an invoice. So there's a lot of convenience tools like this that are built into Invoiced. The other thing that's nice is that there's a built-in subscription billing module. What that lets you do is if you have recurring billing that you're running with clients, let's say you have someone on a retainer, or let's say you've got someone enrolled in a software subscription, you can manage all of that from within Invoiced. We'll handle the billing, we'll handle all the contract renewal rules, we'll handle whether it's billed in advance or in arrears, all of the options that you need to create plans and then to subscribe your customers to them or to let them self-subscribe to those plans is included as part of several of our invoiced plans. You can also see what payments are going through, what activities are happening. The other nice thing is that we provide a very cool way to see when you're going to receive cash. And this is really important because what we're doing is we're capturing a lot of data about what bills you have going out, when they're due, how much they're for, what that customer's payment history is, whether they're on an installment plan, whether they're on auto pay. And so we have all the perfect data to be able to predict with a high degree of accuracy when you will receive cash. And that's what this chart is. It's telling you when you're going to get actual money, when we're predicting that you're going to get actual money. And so this is very useful to know for your own cash and capital planning purposes. There are lots of other options on Invoice. You can change the appearance of your invoices. You can change what your customer portal looks like and how it behaves. You can create coupon codes. You can create different kinds of late fees. You can create early payment discounts. You can add credit card convenience fees if you'd like. Really, there are limitless possibilities for how you can configure and set up Invoiced to meet the exact needs of your business. And with that, we will conclude the demo. Hope you found this useful, and just let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.